Hi, Stuart. It's Paula.
Yes, Paula.
Could you please talk about the cycle of energy or what happens when you bring the energy from the hara into the tailbone and then up the top of your head? Could you talk about from the top of your, it feels like a cycle. Could you talk about what happens?
Yeah, I talk about it actually quite often. I mean, look, the chakra below the navel, as I've said at least 8,000 billion times, it's the strength in a human being. It's the core, it's the rootedness, it's the foundation. And when you draw energy from that chakra through the sexual area, it's the first point in the cycle of energy inside a human being where the male-female principle unifies, which is the essence of Tantra, the male-female principle, unifying and becoming one. And, that energy and that marriage of the masculine and feminine, it will activate Kundalini. And when Kundalini is activated, it rises up the spine and it really goes right into the crown chakra and it germinates there. It takes time, but it will germinate. The crown chakra will open. The soul of a human being connects with the soul of the universe. It's a very simple process. But in order to attain enlightenment, we have to let go of our humanity. That surrendering of our humanity takes place when energy moves through the sexual area. And the union of the Shiva Shakti, the yin yang, or whatever you want to call it, it then gives birth to Kundalini. Now, this is an organic process, and it's something, that will evolve in a human being. It's not something you can think about and do. Your system, as I keep saying also over and over again, it grows to the point where you are capable of doing that. Understand? It's a process of the unfolding of consciousness inside a human being. And suddenly you discover that there's a marriage taking place in the sexual area that brings together the Shiva Shakti, the yin yang, the male female. And just as an addendum to all of this, it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight or lesbian or whatever, that's totally beyond and outside the point. The point is that energy has to move through the sexual area. Because inside each and every one of us, no matter what our sexual preferences are, there's a male-female principle that has to unify. Now, this can take place, in meditation. Over time, we build a chakra system that's capable of doing what I'm talking about. Over time, we can build a chakra system, and in the actual act of making love, we can do this. It becomes a very high point of meditation when two people who are in a relationship have evolved to the place, where their chakra system is strong enough and developed enough that they can use the act of, sexual act to transform themselves and to truly activate Kundalini. Again, I will repeat, this has nothing to do with being promiscuous and using people in a bad way. It truly has to do with people that really love each other and can share unconditionally with each other. And, they become vessels through which that energy is activated. It's the essence of Tantra. They always have, I mean, if look at a book of Tantra, there's always 1,000 different gods and, Rinpoches and, yogis and all in, sexually coupling with their consorts, and all of that is a metaphor for what I'm talking about. And it happens as we grow and develop a system inside that allows it to happen. Just as healing happens as we grow and develop a system inside that allows it to happen. Mudra happens that way. The mind gets quiet that way. The emotions get quiet that way. We get grounded that way. All of it is a process of the system inside a human being evolving, refining itself and evolving. And one of the most powerful elements is what takes place in the sexual area, where the human literally gets transformed into the divine.
Thank you so much, Stuart. I loved the explanation of the soul unifying with the universe, the point of contact. Thank
You're welcome. It's something that you shouldn't worry about. Just keep building your inner life and it'll take place. It'll just happen. One day in meditation, you'll have that type of experience. You will become a master of Tantra. I mean, Tantra is a subject that is so hush-hush, and yet there are a lot of books on it, and you go into Tibetan Buddhism. I mean, I went to an exhibition at the Met, and all this tantric stuff there, right out in the public. And, and I don't even think the curators understand what this is all about. I once had a client, I'll never forget this guy. He was a very good client of mine. And he invited me up to his apartment, he and his wife, to look at their collection. They had an incredible collection of Tibetan and Nepalese art. And they had one entire showcase full of really top-notch purvas, Tibetan tantric knives. And this man was a dentist, I think he liked them because they reminded him of his drill. But he hit me in the rib and he said to me, Stuart, what do they use these for? I mean, it blew my socks away. I mean, the guy probably had, I don't know, $200,000 invested in purvas in the showcase. And he wanted to know what they used them for, what the Tibetans used them for. So I had to sit down with him and explain it to him, the whole essence of Tantra and what purvas are used for in order to transform the human to the spiritual in ritual ceremonies. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question. This is Tom.
Yes, Tom.
I have a question about our energy practice in the energy centers. After opening up to a strong energy for a period of time, I often feel an intensity build inside that's counter to the process. And do you think that allowing the mind to wander for a short time is a good way to relax inside?
No, I don't think so. You let the mind wander, you're going to wind up in a lot of trouble. Best way to relax is to keep your attention focused below the navel, and you listen to your breathing, you bring the energy down, that'll relax you. And there's nothing wrong with that strong energy you're talking about. Just absorb it, get it to flow through your system and work with it. That'll relax you. But letting your mind just float around your system, it's going to create duality, tension, all kinds of problems. You're going to start analyzing the experience and you're going to wind up in a lot of trouble. Keep your mind focused in the chakra below the navel. And when you feel that intensity, I go through the whole meditation feeling that intensity. I have to absorb it. I have to draw it into the third chakra. I have to bring it to the base of the spine. I have to bring it up the spine to the top of the head. I have to open my heart. All of that will absorb the intensity of the experience. But letting your mind just float around, you're just going to get into a lot of trouble. You'll start analyzing Tantra, which is something that's impossible to do, but human beings try to do it all the time. You'll start analyzing chi, love, open heart, ananda. And all of that will just stop the process inside you. The growth will stop. Better to open deeper and absorb the intensity in the chakra system and let your mind drift from chakra to chakra. It doesn't work. Does anyone else have a question they would like?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Tom. Just be grateful for that intensity. Just sheer gratitude for that intensity will absorb the intensity inside you. Sometimes the intensity of these classes, chase people away. They're not ready, which is perfectly all right with me. Everybody can't be ready for this. When somebody asks Rudy, how does your meditation differ from Hatha yoga? He said it's the difference between going to, kindergarten and getting a PhD. It's one of the most advanced forms of inner work, what we do. And as you continue to do it, it gets stronger and stronger. But your system gets more open and capable of absorbing it. And it creates enormous depth inside a human being. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask? And the best way to absorb it is just, stay centered and open your heart. That'll relax you.
I can't hear you.
I said the best way to absorb it. Can you hear me now? I hope so. I got a brand new computer here. The best way to absorb it is to open your heart and just allow that love to just expand and expand, gratitude to expand, and that'll absorb all the intensity. Does anyone else ever, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I'd like to ask you a question, Stuart. It's very interesting to me, having been your student for a very long time, that these Zoom classes can be so powerful. I feel often I feel like you're working, well, I know you're working directly with me. When you do, I feel like all the bones in my forehead are cracking open. And it's amazing to me that it works. If
What is the question?
What the heck? Does it work on Zoom, I wonder?
I don't know. Call up the Zoom company and ask them.
It's amazing, you know?
What do you? It works. Let's be grateful.
Okay.
How it works, I haven't the foggiest idea. I'm stumped. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
but it works, and we have to be grateful that there are people sitting here from Florida, from New York, from Oregon, from all over, Minnesota, all over the country. Brazil, and it works. I'll tell you, when I traveled so much, I always used to think, how can I get all these people together? How can I get people from Brazil, from Europe, from the Middle East, from all over? And, then there was COVID. And also I went through a very difficult period where I had to have an operation and they dumped COVID in my lap. And I said, oh, they dumped Zoom in my lap. And I said, my God, look at all these people from all over the country, all over the world. But I had 3 people today from Belgium get in touch with me. They want to study.
Wow.
And I think it's fantastic. How it works, call up Zoom, ask them. I don't know how it works. It just works. I mean, I've had healing sessions with people over the telephone. I've done meditations with people over the telephone. I transmit Shakti to people that study with me. They're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Out sitting in Zoom, they can feel the energy if they open inside.
Oh, yeah.
So how it works, I don't know. It works, and I'm grateful it works. And it's also giving me a longer life.
Oh, good.
I don't have to travel. I mean, there are people starting to come again, but very few of you come here. But I'm not going to travel again the way I used to. It almost killed me.
Yeah.
If you want in-person classes, you're going to have to come here. I'm not going to go bouncing around the globe the way I used to do. And it almost killed me.
Yeah.
So, it works. I have started in-person classes. There are people coming, not a lot, but there are people coming. And I think it's great. And people have got in touch with me that they want to come in early October. I said, okay, come. It's great. But it works.
Yeah.
Who gives a damn why it works?
Yeah. It's amazing.
It works, for God's sake.
Accept the gift. Thank you.
I mean, when it comes to technology, I'm an aardvark. I have to get Jennifer to come here and fix it. My daughter comes and fixes. I have no idea how to deal with things that have to do with a computer. I know I can get Zoom and MailChimp and everybody turns up, or at least those that want to turn up, turn up. And the ones that don't want to turn up, fine. Eventually I just take them off the list. Somebody doesn't show up for a month, I just take their name off the list. You don't invite people to a party if they never come to the party. Stop inviting them. And this is the same way. But I'm just grateful it works. I'm grateful for all of you. And I always end these sessions with that I sit here and work with all of you, and every single one of you becomes my teacher. Every single one of you, your need to grow spiritually makes enormous demands on me. And I have to go deep enough in myself to truly satisfy that need. Not only my own need, but the need of everybody sitting here. I have to grow. And I think it's wonderful to be able, although I'm tired, I must admit, I do think it's wonderful though, to be teaching 7 of these classes a week. You know, and to be able to connect with people literally all over the world. Right now, I have more people in Europe and the Middle East, you know, asking me about meditation than people in the United States, which to me is a little bit unbelievable, but it's true. There are more people that come here, but the thing is, every day I get somebody from Belgium, from Italy that gets in touch with me. I heard about your classes. You know, how can I start? You know? Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, then there'll be a meditation on Wednesday. And thank you. God bless you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Stuart.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Stuart.
You're welcome. God bless you all.
Thank you so
you.
much.